We're continuing to track this developing story about News Corp and a potential takeover of British Sky Broadcasting, BSkyB. Would it be good for both sides and both shareholders? Well, let's ask that of Jason Subotky. He's portfolio manager for Yacktman Asset Management Fund's #1 holding is News Corp. Good morning to you, Jason. We know News Corp's got about, what, $8 billion in cash on its books. Is this the way you want to see the company spend that kind of money?
We think it's a good transaction. Anytime you can buy a company that you've helped build and any kind of business where it continues to move you in the direction that's away from an advertising-based business and into a more subscription-based recurring revenue business, we think that's a good thing.
So, you know, BSkyB, by all accounts, thus far has sort of spurned this offer. Is this just an opening discussion at this point? I mean, how real do you believe News Corp's interest is in BSkyB? They have, what, 10 million subscribers?
Correct. News Corp's definitely very serious about it. I think you're probably seeing some gains from the BSkyB side because they saw how News Corp behaved in the Dow Jones transaction. I think in this case they're going to be a lot more disciplined than they were 3 years ago.
Is this more broadly, though, excuse me, because you're talking about the move away from advertising, the more kind of interest in subscriber-based media. Is this really just sort of a conviction play by Murdoch that this is the way that the media is going to go? It's going to be pay for content, period.
It is, and if you look at News Corp, the premier asset that we think they have is really the cable content, which is largely based in the United States right now, but also has a good global footprint. And the recurring revenue streams that you get from that make it a very predictable business and one that you can make a very good long-term investment with. And we think that you've seen on the cable content side, Rupert go after the recurring revenues. They're doing that with Fox on the network side. And they already have pretty substantial commitment in the satellite market over in Italy. And I think this is just a continued extension of that.
Give me a sense of the leadership in the room. When the door's closed, you've got Chase Carey, right, as the lead negotiator on this. Give me a sense of the kind of negotiator he is here. Is he going to get this done for Murdoch?
Well, he's a wonderful operator. He ran DirecTV for many years, and that's clearly one of the superior pay TV businesses. And I think they're just going to be, at the end of the day, very disciplined in their negotiations. If they can get a transaction done at the right price, which is around the level they've bid or maybe slightly higher, they will.
And that's what, 11.5? You know, what's the right price from your perspective?
I think that's right. Somewhere around that level, perhaps a touch higher. But if not, I think they'll move on and they'll do share repurchase, perhaps increase the dividend. And we'd be very favorable if that was the end result as well. If the share repurchase was an outcome of this, we'd be very happy too, if the deal didn't go through. Whenever
we talk about Rupert Murdoch, we also talk about his family members and his children, the likely successors here. What does this do? I mean, how much of a family affair is this?
Well, his son James ran BSkyB for about 4 years. He's the chairman, and I think it is probably a signal of what will happen, although we hope that Mr. Murdoch is very engaged for many, many years to come.
It's basically setting him up, though, as a potential successor?
I think it's a strong indication, but I guess time will tell.
More so than Chase Carey, who you just said is such a great negotiator.
We'd be thrilled to have Chase Carey run operations and continue to run the business. He's a superior manager.
All right.
I think what's great about it is that the collection of businesses they have, and more importantly, the valuation of the company, it's not that critical whether it's a Murdoch or whether it's Chase Carey. Those are both good options.
So if this isn't the right way to spend that $8 billion in cash, I mean, what's the next way that this gets directed? Do we see share repurchases? I mean, how do you see this cash being deployed?
We'd love to see a large share repurchase. We think the stock's incredibly undervalued. And several years ago, they did a very significant share repurchase when they did a transaction with Liberty Media. And we'd be very happy to see them repurchase extremely aggressively at this level. But we also recognize that Rupert Murdoch has phenomenal strategic vision. I mean, he created the dominant cable news network in the United States when people thought he was crazy to go up against CNN. Yeah. He created the Fox network when the big three were very dominant. And so we're also very happy. This is an asset he knows extremely well and has helped build, and it's not often you get to deploy a lot of capital in a company where you've grown it for more than 20 years.
All right. Thank you for your perspective there.